Going. All right, June 7th here. And, one thing I wanted to let you guys know is our first year of the apprentice program is officially over. It's been a whole freaking year. I can't believe it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put out kind of a last call for anybody that has done their work and wants to, do a review and maybe a final wrap up and a game plan to get that launched and live for anybody that's in that position. I know there's a few. Gary, I think, was in that position. Who was? Oh, Justin. Justin's like right at the end of the rainbow. So there's probably 3 or 4 that I think will probably need that final wrap up to get it cooking. And then I am going to restart. I'm going to relaunch the whole apprentice program for anybody that wants to hop on board in that and get off to either a new start or a continuation. And a lot of people ask me if they could get in during the year, and I kind of discouraged it because we were running that thing and in the middle of it, and I didn't really want to have it just be open to starting up at any time. I wanted to keep it kind of on a sequence to work everybody through. So anyway, we'll be opening it up. I think we're going to do it a little bit differently this time, and I'm gonna kind of rough that out and send that invite out. But for now, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to come out with, we are open and ready. Anybody stuck on something or want info about any particular direction you want me to take here on the call? Or
well, I guess I'll jump in since no one else is.
All right, go for it.
How are you, John?
Awesome.
Awesome, great. So I know I've been kind of MIA for a while, but now that I'm getting more settled up here in Northern California, and I'm actually just started. Michelle Calloway asked me to help her with her funnels and her marketing and stuff with Revelio. She's really dialing in her tech. And Revelio, that it's very belly to belly. When you see it, it's like mind blowing. She's got a lot of videos out there that kind of show you doing it. But to me, I think that's the biggest challenge with her product is you can kind of do it with a video, and you can literally have whatever graphic, and you can hold your phone up to the screen, it'll still come alive. But I just think that's a big challenge. So I'm just curious if you have any ideas on that. Her avatar that she's working on are video marketing companies. She's going to the B2B model. So instead of just going straight for consumers doing it with their business cards, we're doing a whole thing. She's going to finally a subscription model, so people don't have to fork out $500 right away. They can do it on subscription, which I think is smart. But anyway, I'm kind of going all off the tangent, but I guess just your ideas on how to build a funnel for video marketers that haven't seen it belly to belly. Is there for that?
Well, it's great that you've got a definition on who the avatar is.
Yeah.
So that's like first step. Yes. The second step, really, beyond that, is figuring out what is the big idea behind the campaign. It's really, really difficult to figure out how to build a campaign if you don't have that big idea.
Right.
In the tutorial, you should probably sit down with her and watch just the video specifically on the big idea in the ACT training.
Okay.
Because I go through a bunch of different examples of it and how to build that big idea, but it needs to relate to the timeline as far as their desired outcome. So when you look at the timeline and you've got that piece of the analysis figured out, their state. They have like a current state of where they are, what they're feeling, and they obviously, nobody wants to be where they are. It doesn't matter where you are, you don't want to be there. You want to be somewhere else. You know, if you've got no money today and all of a sudden you've got $1 million, the next thing is, you know, you're not happy there either. You want 2 million. So, you know, wherever you are begins a new timeline. So it's important to understand where they are and where they want to be. So if Revelio can get them there, it can get them that desired outcome, that's where you're going to draw your big ideas from. It's that whole thing, and you've got to have, there's kind of like 3 components to it. There's the unique mechanism that's going to deliver the desired outcome, which in Revelio's case, that probably is the unique mechanism. There's not any other thing like it. So you got that. You've got to key into the desired outcome of what it is. What is this thing going to actually do for them? What is the true benefit? You got to not talk about what it is. You got to talk about what it does.
Exactly.
So the whole idea about saying what it's doing, and this is kind of a double-edged sword here, because with Revelio, there's 2 things of what it's doing. It actually does something, but that's not what it does for the person. That's not the benefit.
Right.
So in Revelio, when you're showing it in action, you're really showing features. You're showing it's really what it is.
You're right.
But the thing about what it does is that what it does is the outcome. So you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
That is really important.
Yeah, I think, you know, what her thing is, what she's finding, speaking to, you know, she's been talking to a lot of video marketers, is that their pain is there's a lot of them out there all doing the same thing. And Revelio will give them this unique mechanism that gives them something nobody else can do, this additional mind-blowing, jaw-dropping mechanism that could just set them apart. It gives them something else they can add to their repertoire of things that they can sell, I guess. That's what she was telling me.
Okay, so in that scenario, about 90% of that, what you just said, was kind of irrelevant.
Okay.
The relevant piece to it was the thing that they're struggling because they're in a market where there's nothing that sets them apart.
Okay.
So if that's truly what they need and that's their desired outcome, but I don't think it is. I think that's just a stepping stone to their desired outcome, is they probably want more customers for their video service.
Yeah.
You know, they probably want, you know, that's going to be more along the line of what they're truly after. Okay. So you want to key in on that. You want to say, for you to get that, you've got to set yourself apart. And for you to set yourself apart, we have a unique mechanism that will do that for you. So does that make sense? So a big idea, it works like that. Okay. And then the other thing is you need to create some sort of an intrigue so it comes across in a way they've never heard it before. Because however you position something, it's probably going to seem like they've heard it before, even if they really haven't. Even if the thing is they've never seen it before, if you position it in a way they think they have, you're going to lose them. Which is why, like as an example, the 4-Hour Workweek book is a perfect example of that, because that book is really about outsourcing, and everyone's heard that story. Everyone's heard, you know, you can outsource your life, you know, but they'd never heard the 4-Hour Workweek, which was an example of that's exactly what they want. That's their desired outcome. They want to work less and, you know, hang out on the beach and get the income. So that's a perfect example. That book sold no copies as the outsourcing guide or whatever they called it originally, because nobody wanted that. When they changed it and they repackaged it to the 4-Hour Workweek, where do you hear outsourcing in that? Nowhere. It's repackaging it in a new way that no one's ever heard that delivers the desired outcome. You know, it's like Craig is another example. He was the shoestring budget marketer guy, you know, and nobody wanted that. Yeah. You know, it wasn't until he changed, he transformed, and he was like, you know, the rock star marketing system for success. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So he drew in a lot of people where he was struggling and failing with the other image. So it's the same thing when you talk about video marketing and standing out. You're really speaking a conversation that's been heard over and over and over, and it's going to get ignored. It's not, there's no way to grab attention with that. So like another example of what I just did, because I'm in the same boat with marketing. I mean, the ACT program, it's just another marketing program. You know, everyone's heard that. They've heard this promises. There's nothing unique about a marketing program. So recently, I just created a campaign, which was a big idea about the Elvis shift. And you've probably seen that. You know, so it's the idea of how a struggling musician, now they're tying struggling with their own battle of struggling in business, how that struggling musician did this shift that turned him into the king of rock and roll overnight. And you can do that same shift in your business. You know, ad agencies have been doing it for over 100 years. Now all of a sudden I'm talking about something that has not been heard before, and it's intriguing, and it's tied to what they want. So that's really the key of how to do that. And then once your big idea is in place, it makes everything so easy. If you don't have the big idea locked down, it's going to make everything really difficult. But it really does. It becomes easy because when the big idea is there, your headlines for your ad, they just magically appear. They're already kind of done and built in because you've already got that. And then your whole storyline of how you're going to sell the product is just unveils itself because it's all tied to that story. And it doesn't come off now as you've piecemealed something together where you're going here and there and you're just trying everything under the sun to try and sell this thing that they don't really want.
Yeah. No, that's what we're finding is what she's finding is, you know, Revelio is really cool and really awesome, but people are like jaw dropping. It's like everything is crazy when people see it, but she's not getting any sales because in my opinion, and this is, you know, I've been out there trying to help and do my research on what people want and how it's affecting them. And it's almost like that diamond ring that like, you don't really need it. It's like that shiny thing that's, oh, that'd be really cool to have. And if I have the money, sure, I'll do it. But, you know, it's not really the most important thing to me, but it's really cool to look at. You know what I mean? So that seems to be the issue here. That's, you know.
Well, there's a big difference between shock and awe and a really cool thing and actually making a purchase of that thing.
Exactly.
Because you've got to tie the cool thing into a desired outcome. If you don't do that, you're not creating demand and desire.
Right.
So you're shocking and awing, but you're not creating that desire of the heart to have it. Because really the heart is what drives the buying impulses. And it's the head that gets in the way.
Yep.
You know, you've got to convince the heart, or you got to seduce the heart to convince the head. So the seducing of the heart is where you tie it to the desired outcome, and the heart really wants that. So the heart says, yeah, let's get that. And then the head steps in, and this is the conscious mind trying to protect the heart. And the head says, no, it sounds like bullshit to me. So I need proof. I need facts. So that's where you have to understand what are the objections, what are the beliefs that are going to become those objections, so you can now convince the head to let the heart have what it wants. That's how that piece of it works.
Right.
So, and again, that goes back to the ACT program. That's why we do the web analysis. And in the first part, we do a web analysis once we've figured out who the ideal client is. The web analysis is their wants, emotions, and beliefs. Because once we understand their beliefs, those are the beliefs that are going to create the objections. That's where they come from. And if we understand that going in, it's so much easier for us to eliminate those objections and get to a sale. There, you can see there's a huge gap from the whole shock and awe, and that's really cool, to, okay, you want me to buy that? You know, why? Why would I buy it? You know, it's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But, you know, you're trying to convince me to give you money for something that you haven't shown me what it's going to do for me and why I would want it.
Right. Not that, you're going to get a crowd of people around you, and being able to, they're going to see how different you are and you're up to date. All those things that she talks about, that's not really from the heart. It's like,
Yeah.
it's still a feature kind of.
Yeah. So you've got to get that heart component. But for you guys, the head is going to be a huge problem
Mm-hmm.
because, the head is where the objections are going to come from. And one of the objections for anybody that's savvy to the industry, the first thing they're going to say, or the first thing they're going to recognize, is this only works if the person has the app on their phone already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been a big objection.
You have a major objection to get over there.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to figure that one out. That's going to be a tough one. So that's so you got a couple of things. You've got to look at, what's the benefit for the business owner to buy this thing? How is it going to deliver their desired outcome? And how are you going to get over those huge objections of, even if I have this, nobody can see it unless they load an app. Like, I watched her do her presentation, and when she tried to get the room to do the demo, it was a disaster because nobody had the app, nobody got it, and it created a huge amount of frustration while she was on stage. That was a horrible situation for her. And that basically, I don't know, I don't think she sold anything during that presentation, because it took it from this whole shock and awe, this thing is freaking awesome, to that didn't work for me, why would I buy it?
Oh, wow.
And that's a huge barrier that you're going to have to eliminate.
Yeah.
So it's got to be in your presentation. You're going to have to educate this person of the process. You don't want them to find that out on their own, because if they discover that without you bringing it to their attention, that's going to create a distrust. So in marketing and sales, you're building trust, you're building rapport. You don't want a deal breaker just thrown in the middle to destroy that.
Yeah.
And that's what'll happen if they discover these problems on their own. It is an inherent problem, and you've got to bring it out, and you've got to diffuse the bomb, and you've got to say, okay, here's how this would actually benefit you. Because let's say it's on a book. We'll just use that as an example. It's on a book, and it's on bookshelves, and if you tell the client, anybody that scans their phone over this book, it's going to come to life, and they realize that's not true, you've just, your whole thing is shot down and it's burning on the roadside. So you've got to show them, okay, here's how we use this effectively. You put some sort of a banner over the book that says, to make this book come to life, download this app and then roll your phone over it. It's got to be more of an education process for you to get it, and it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to do that whole thing of where you take them through the cycle as you're building the demand and desire. You're going to have to educate them in how to use it. So she should be working furiously on figuring that piece out of, how do I create a blueprint for a business owner to actually get the benefit out of my product? Because a product alone is nothing. If the product is not usable and not user-friendly, and that's a huge issue. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest barrier I see for that product. It is a great product. It's got tremendous shock and awe, but it's the usability. It's not like I can just grab this thing off the shelf and put the money in and buy it, and it's just going to work for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to figure out, how do we package it? How do we build a program that this thing will actually deliver the benefit for the person that buys it? And once you figure that out, it'll be easy to explain it and describe it.
Okay, so if she's going to, like, as soon as she talks to a video marketer that she wants them to become affiliates. She wants just this huge bunch of affiliates going out there selling it. But I'm seeing now that she better educate them. She needs to educate them on exactly what you're talking about. She better have that in place before she even goes there, because they will have to sell it. So if she can't sell it, how are they going to sell it?
Yeah, affiliates don't know how to sell shit.
Yeah.
Affiliates know how to drive traffic. So when you supply them the sales materials that convert, they drive the traffic, everybody makes money. But you're exactly right. They're not going to know how to do that, nor are they going to do that for you. That's the job of the product creator. That's the job of the marketer. That's the job of, you know, the company to put that together.
Okay.
So once you have that put together, then yeah, the affiliates are easy. You know, if you have a product that converts, affiliates are, you know, they're a dime a dozen. You can go out and plunk it on affiliate networks and let it, you know, let it prove its weight.
Interesting. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a lot to talk to her about. I'm going to be there next week. We're going to be working, and we just got Kartra yesterday.
Awesome.
And so I just got my head in there, like just yesterday for a little bit, just kind of looking around, and it looks really cool. So she wants to start using that. So
okay.
it's just.
Well, that brings up an interesting point. I've promised you guys I would do some Kartra tutorials for anybody that gets it. And I will probably schedule the first one for next week.
Okay.
So we'll do, I don't know if I'll do it on the same day, but I will at least schedule one for next week to get you guys started, because it is really, really a cool product.
Oh, I'm blown away already just looking over it. Yeah.
I mean, it's literally what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting a long time for this thing. I mean, it's what I say is it's what Infusionsoft wanted to be. It really is. But they just are not there, and I don't know that they ever will be.
Yay.
So Infusionsoft, I was telling somebody last night about what Infusionsoft is. Infusionsoft is a marketing program for marketers built by idiots. And Kartra is a marketing program for marketers by marketers. So they truly understand what's needed, and that's what they built. That's freaking awesome. So anyway, we'll do that. I'll send out, I got quite a fair number of emails that I'm going to be shooting out this week, because a lot of new stuff, a lot of new updates. I want to send everybody the link. If you haven't got Kartra already, you can get it. I've got an affiliate link for it, and then we'll do those programs. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll be restarting the Apprentice Program for any of you that want to get in and really, you know, light a fire and get that going. We're going to do things a little differently this year on the new program when we unleash it here. And I'm probably only going to take a handful of people into it, because I'm going to be working with them way more on this round. And I just don't know how many I can handle, but it's probably going to be between 5 and 10, and I've already got 3 committed that are ready to go. So I won't be taking too many people in on it. So just want to let you guys know about that. So if you want to get involved in that, you can hop on it when I cut that loose. Let's see. Anybody else? I think Gwen says there he just NLP'd us. You know, I don't NLP anybody. This is just me doing what I do. She says that was Rustin. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. A lot of, you know, really exciting stuff. I don't know if you guys have gotten onto my homepage recently, the internetdominators.com, but I got Todd Gross to do a voiceover on the video for me. I wrote out the script for the Elvis shift. I ran some Facebook ads that did actually pretty well. I did something kind of foolish. I ran the first Facebook ad for the Elvis Live as an event, a live event, which I know better. live events are really hard to get from cold traffic. You wind up spending a lot of money on your ads, and it's not really conducive to conversion. So what you want to do is you want to give them the easy offer first. You want to get them in, get them to know you, so when you do make the offer to a live event, even if it's a 2-hour live event, you're doing it to a warm audience, not a cold audience. But I got to tell you, my conversion ratio on it, I got a lot of views and not very many clicks, because they could tell right away it was for a live event. So my click-through ratio was somewhat poor, but of the people that clicked through, my conversion ratio on them was like 11 to 12%, which is phenomenal. So what that tells me is, had I done a sane offer instead of an insane offer, I probably would have done very well with that campaign toward the Elvis shift. Another thing I learned from this was, when I was setting up the campaign, I kind of did it last minute inside Facebook, and it was just a test, so wasn't a big thing. I ran $400 to it, and as I was setting it up, I was doing it like 3 or 4 days before the event, so it was really truly was last minute, and I didn't have any ads really complete, ready to go for it. So as I was setting up the campaign, I was taking the suggested images. I was putting keywords into Facebook, and it was giving me suggested stock images to use for my ads. So what I did, I selected, you have 6 to choose from. You have 6 ads. I did a 6-ad rotation, and I chose 3 of the stock photos based on their recommendations. And then I thought, I really don't want to use 6 stock photos for this. I should use something I know is converted before, and at least a test of something new. So one image of mine I used was the Elvis image, where, he's got the crowd out in front of him, and it says, create raving fans, or attract raving fans like Elvis. I used that one, and I also used 2 versions of the ad that I used in the past that converted like crazy for me, which was me in front of an audience, and up on the screen before it said SEO secrets being revealed, and I just changed that to marketing secrets being revealed. And I was really surprised and really shocked that I got outdone by the generic ads that Facebook recommended. They beat out anything I put up, which I found that to be really interesting. Apparently, they're really good at figuring out what will get their audience to click on stuff. So just something to throw out there of something I discovered in that little test. Obviously, I'm going to run this test again, and I'm going to do it, like I said, to a sane offer of just showing them a video on the Elvis shift, which I've already got in place. If you guys want to see it, it's up on the site. I know Sue had gone through there a week or so ago, and she said the video didn't show up, and it was because I hadn't recorded it yet. But it's up there now. From the live event, I delivered this content live at this event in Marina del Rey this week, and the feedback I got was, at the end of it, I really needed to tie back in the Elvis shift on the end to drive the close. So in discovering that, I'm going to redo the ending of the video and refocus the close a little bit and tie that back in. And some of the ways I can do that is simply asking the question that's kind of the question of, do you want to continue doing what you're doing and getting no results, or are you ready to make this shift and actually make something happen in your business? And with Elvis, the whole Elvis thing, I can do that, by saying, are you ready to change your tune like Elvis did and, really become the king of your industry? Or are you ready to, sing the same old song and get the same old results that you've always gotten? So that's one way that I can tie that into the end. Another thing, there was somebody there that actually was from the NLP world, and it was Jay Williams. He came out to the event, and he said, why don't you tie it into the fact that if you do a marketing campaign, if you make this shift and you do this right, you can actually create a legacy business that will outlast you, because that really ties into Elvis. If you look at Elvis, he was not only the king of rock and roll, he created a legacy that still lives on today, even after he's long gone. So for business entrepreneurs, I think that might tie into the significance that really drives them. So I may put that legacy component in there. And instead of you just bumbling along with a business that barely pays your way, why don't you create a legacy that you can pass down to your children that will support, the ultimate lifestyle that you want? It'll support that for them too, going on for generations to come. So that's another really strong tie-in. I thought that was a great, great direction and wrap up for coming from an actual NLP practitioner. And he's actually a practitioner trainer, so he's kind of one of the high-end guys. So anyway, pretty cool stuff. Anybody else? Let's hear from you guys. What direction do you want the call to take here at this point? Anybody in a position where you're stuck and we can hopefully unstick you and move you forward? You guys are all moving.
Greg here.
Hey, Gregory, how's it going?
Fine, thank you. Going back to the first topic about Revealio, the way I was envisioning it was not to sell Revealio itself, but because I have so many irons in the fire and I'm trying to kill a few, the head is still not convinced. Wait. Here's what I was thinking was, let's use an internet Dominator. And when I approach people and I'm talking to people at the club, I'm asking about their website and how the business is going on the website and about where they want to take it and all. And I have a Revealio account, but I haven't activated. But the way I was thinking about it, and here's what I want to throw out, was not to show Revealio as a selling it forward to them, but using Revealio to talk about what would be appealing to them, how to improve your website, how to increase your sales, how to enhance your life, and with more income and less stress. So I think that's kind of the points that you have at your website. When I look at your video, I'm picking up key pieces in there, how it appeals to my people in downtown, and then use Revealio as that, or we'll be able to put up a snippet of your, which we have to talk about later. But you see the overall head plan I'm talking about is I'm not going to shock them at all. I'm going to shock them at all with Revealio, but not Revealio, but to internet Dominators. And then if they say, well, how did you do that on your card? Well, that's another service that will be involved to see if they're interested, they'll follow up. If they're not, they're not. The point is I'm trying to just hone in on people who really have the foresight to see it. Is that a way of maybe doing it and getting it out?
Oh, Revealio? Are you talking? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. Oh, no, I know. This is just general the way I was thinking of planning my campaign. I'm going through another shift again, but because I got Revealio account almost 2 years ago, and she's been waiting on, Miss Calloway's been waiting on me to get started, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to put with this? Because selling the idea of stock trading and all has not gone well at the club. People are interested, but they don't want to follow it through. They're interested in their businesses and what's going on. Well, appeal to their heart, which is their business, and their business would be is who increase sales. Will increase sales. Have you had an idea of a web evaluation to know what who are your ideal customers, where are they coming from, and how much money is being left on the table, and how we can increase that? And then if the conversation leads to more interest, is then use Revealio at that time to show them John's video. That's the way I was doing it. I wasn't going to tell them about Revealio up front. Revealio was just another tool to move one product and then see if there's further interest on the second product. You understand where I'm coming from, John?
Yeah, but I heard something else in there.
Okay.
That I think is really something I need to point out for you. That's a really key factor for you specifically. And what you said in there was your stock trading stuff is not getting a very warm reception to your, to your audience there. And that is not surprising. What that is basically, it doesn't mean that your stock stuff has no value. I want you to make sure that you understand that. You're just targeting the wrong market. And when you do that, when you come into a group, doesn't matter what the group is, you come into the group for one reason or another. Like, let's say we all go into Craig's group. I'll use that as an example. When you go into Craig's group, everybody has cool stuff. We all have cool, products and services, but it does not mean that the group is our target market. And usually they're not. Like if I look at Craig's group for a target market, I actually went there to sell SEO services or supply SEO services to the group. Out of his group of, I don't know how many hundreds of people are in his group, I've only taken on one client, because that was really all out of that group that was my true target market. And that was all I could really help with that. So same thing, like, with the club that you're in, those guys are probably not your target market. It doesn't have anything to do with your product or your approach. What you need to do, as far as like the ACT program for yourself, the most important thing that you could do is figure out who is the most profitable segment, or what is the most profitable segment of people that is right for your product or for your training. And then out of that, when you figure out that most profitable segment, then pick a person from out of there. And you want to make sure you're real specific about the person, because that's going to become your avatar. Like, you want to find out if it's male or if it's female. You want to find out what age group it's in. And the reason for that is so you can speak the right language, because different age groups just inherently speak different languages. They have different slang, different meanings. Like, certain age groups will know stuff from history that the younger generation won't resonate with. Like, we all saw TV commercials when we were growing up. If we make reference to them, we'll all laugh. But you tell a 20-year-old that, and they go, oh, what the hell are you talking about? So it's really important that you understand who your ideal client is, so you can tailor the language. And when I say men and women, it's typically because men and women have very different outlooks, very different desires, very different things are important to men versus women. So once you figure that piece out, you've got your avatar, and you do that once, emotions and beliefs around your product, then you'll know where they are and where they want to be. That's the timeline piece to it. And then at that point, now you can write effective copy. You can create a sales presentation that will seduce their heart and convince their head. And then at that point, you just have to take that message into the right market. And I think you'll kill it. I think what you have, it works for you, and you have a system that can work for others. You just need to figure out who is that target market that's going to work for, and bring it to them. And I think you will do very well, and I think it'll eliminate a lot of the frustration that you're having, because your frustration is coming from trying to push it and show it to the wrong market. That's it. You're basically in the Elvis shift. You're in the beginning part of where you're working hard. But
super. That definitely helps with the focus, because I have like 3 good people who really are interested, and yeah, they're also influencers. Right on. Thank you.
Yeah. So just stop directing your attention at the wrong people. Use those people for other purposes. The club is a great thing, because you've got people in there that can give you advice and connect you with people, but they're not your market. So, when you're in the club and you're in that environment, use that to its advantage, not to your frustration. So
That's very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no, because I think you definitely have something. You just need to figure out how to package it and who you're packaging it for, and connect those two dots. And I think you'll do really well. I think you'll be surprised at how well you do with that.
Okay. Next, somebody.
Cool. So yeah, so that's anybody else who is up? Who's up next? I know Cheryl said she has a bad connection. If you want to put in the box here anything you want, I'll see if I can address it. Mr. McLean, how are you doing? We haven't seen you in a while.
Hello. I've been traveling. I just got back at 3 o'clock this morning from Burlington, Vermont, and
Awesome.
so yeah, it was the first day was a 20-hour day, and the second day was a 17-hour day with flights and everything. And I came back and I thought, I am not charging enough, and I need to charge more. But I need to also build a I need to build a business with semi-passive income, so I'm not jumping on airplanes all the time. So anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know if you realize it or not, but you've made a huge leap forward since we first started.
By asking the most important question, who's my ideal client? Or
Pretty
what?
much. I mean, that's kind of the basis of it. But I remember when we first started working together, and I could see the light bulbs going off with what you were learning, and you've really implemented that. Yeah, you haven't done the online stuff, and you haven't created a funnel or anything like that, but I think you've got a huge amount of benefit that you might not even put it together yet.
Yeah. Oh, I certainly agree. When I'm dealing with clients, the things that I'm always on his calls because I always pick up stuff about how to connect with them. What is their? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we were doing a interview with a patient that had a surgery, and he was very fussy. He was very particular and very, he wanted to look right and all these things. And I realized right away it's that he is talking. Everything he's doing is on an emotional level, trying to explain it to him on a technical level or whatever wouldn't work. So I spoke to him on an emotional level. And so that was just identifying the client and speaking language to them, not about what I could do, but what the benefit. If they would just follow what I was asking, if they would trust the process, it would benefit them greatly. So.
Yeah. But what I've seen, specifically, like when we first met,
yeah,
you were really busy and you were really frustrated and you weren't really making much money.
Right.
You were taking on a lot of jobs that you should have been passing on.
Yes.
I don't see you doing that anymore.
I am not.
And yeah, you're really busy, but you're making some money now, aren't you?
I am making some money, and I really believe it's from these conversations, talking about marketing and presenting and talking to an emotional level of what of benefits versus features. So yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. So that was just my whole point of, don't base your success on not having a funnel up. You've gotten massive success, and I just wanted to make sure that you recognize it. That it's
Thanks.
pat yourself on the back. You've done a hell of a job.
Well, thanks. It has. You're right, John. It's it has things have improved, and they say, who was it that said? There was someone that said you can judge your income based on the what is it, like the 6 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And
that one many times.
yeah, and I think since I've just been listening to success principles and marketing principles and ideals and asking what's the ideal life, that's one of the first things you ask. What's the ideal life that you want? I think that has seeped into many of my business dealings, and so yeah, I've been rubbing elbows with you and the group, and my income's gone up definitely.
Yeah.
And there's no other outside, like I didn't read a book or invest in a tape series or join some church or something. You know, it's all coming from the knowledge and insights that you and everyone else has been providing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you know, another shout out here to Gwen and Rustin, because they're in the same boat, and I don't know if they realize how far they've come in the last year or two, but they've taken on more new clients here in the last just couple of months than they had in, you know, the previous couple of years, which I think is awesome. You know, so you know, great job on all of you. No matter how you're using this material, it works. It really does. It really works. When you segment the audience and you figure out who's profitable, and you know, you focus on that, it really works. I can't tell you how many businesses I've seen that make those simple little shifts and get huge impact out of them. So regardless of whether you guys have funnels up or not, just the way that you've all shifted in your thinking about business has done you all very well. You know, whether it's just that you stopped buying crap that you didn't need, you know, that's a huge benefit. The fact that you can look at opportunities and see if it's really an opportunity or if it's just, you know, something that you should just pass and walk away from. Those are all huge benefits of this program and this information. So some of you I've kind of heard this line of speech from many people in the group of they're discouraged because they don't have a funnel up yet. And that shouldn't be a reason to be in distress. As long as you're taking the information and you're actually using it to advance and move forward and better yourself, that's what it's all about. I don't care if you ever get a funnel up. All I care is that you guys get benefit out of the program and use it to your advantage, you know, because it is a huge advantage. Knowing the difference between spinning your wheels in business and what's productive and effective, just knowing the difference gives you a huge advantage because it gives you the ability to choose. You know, a lot of people that don't have that, they don't have that advantage, they don't know the difference between spinning their wheels, and they'll continue to spin them forever and be frustrated and not even know there's a difference. So you guys at least have the ability to choose. You can look at a job and you can say, am I just spinning my wheels with this? Maybe I should pass this. Maybe I should give it to one of my competitors because it'll really hurt them. So, you know, that's a really cool position to be in. So I just want you guys to you know, acknowledge that and acknowledge that you're better for this, and don't beat yourself up. You know, don't beat yourself up that, oh God, I don't have a funnel up yet. Well, who cares? As long as you're in a better state today than you were before, that's all that matters. So anyway, great stuff. Anybody else specifically here? I haven't really talked to Russ enough to know if he's really what kind of benefits, but I'm pretty sure that Russ also has kind of advanced in his strategies and everything due to this kind of shift in thinking, because that's really what it is. It's a shift in thinking. So yeah, there he is. Thumbs up. Awesome. And I know, you know, you guys are looking at this and I don't have a funnel up. Who cares? Yeah. Mary,
Is Kartra the key to getting the funnel up?
Kartra, yes. I truly believe Kartra is the key to getting a funnel up easily. And I'm living proof to that because, you know, a lot of people think that I'm real tech savvy and that I'm this, you know, programming guru, and I'm not. I never have been. I've built a lot of websites over the years because I used a program called NetObject Fusion. And it gave me that unfair advantage to do things that I didn't really have the skills to do with a drag and drop system. Problem is, a couple years ago, it kind of went out of date and it stopped doing what I needed to do, which was be on the front edge. It didn't keep up with mobile. So it put me at a huge disadvantage and then the fact that I could no longer really connect stuff effectively, I was, leaning on tech guys to do all that stuff for me. And it really just felt like I've had handcuffs on for the last couple of years. So, I spent a ton of money on Infusionsoft. I never got it to work. I know a lot of you guys have experienced stuff like that. You've got systems and they just don't allow you to do what you really want to and you need to do. And when I saw Kartra, and for you guys, Kartra is not new. I don't know if you know that. A lot of you think it just showed up, but it's been around for a while. It's just their new launch. They've really tightened it up, and they're ready to really launch it out and give Russell Brunson a run for his money with ClickFunnels, because they realize the holes that ClickFunnels has. Up until now, ClickFunnels was, to me, like the best option because it was somewhat of a drag and drop, but like I said, it had a lot of holes in it. But when I saw Kartra, when I saw the launch, and I'm like, oh my God, really? It does all of that? And I kept reading and I kept looking, and I'm like, this thing does everything I want to do, all in one shot. And and then I looked at it and I started adding up how much I could save just by cutting out all the services that it was going to replace, and it became an absolute no-brainer. And now that I've had 2 months under my belt of actually working with it, everything was true. I have not found a single thing about it that would make me want to take a step back away from it. So yeah, it truly is. It makes it so easy for you to create an opt-in that is compliant, and the opt-in automatically creates a database for you so you can start collecting information. You can create landing pages and just pull that right in if you want to create sales pages, products, any of that stuff, and it all connects seamlessly. So it's just awesome.
So does it walk you through how to set your funnel up like a template, or do you have to come up with that separately and it just gives you a place to put it?
No, it really, they've got video tutorials on every step, and that was the first thing I did. I spent probably about 2 or 3 hours, and I went through the video tutorials. Now, granted, when I was going through the video tutorials, it all made a lot of sense to me because of my background. So I would recommend doing that, going through the video tutorials first and just getting up to speed on all the stuff that it does, and where all the tools are to make all that stuff happen. Because that's kind of your, that's your canvas that you're going to paint with. So it's good to get familiar with it. And like I've said this a couple times, it's kind of like a Chinese nesting doll. When you first open it up, it looks pretty simple. You've got your menu bar down the left, and there's not a lot of menu bar. There's probably 7 or 8 different buttons there to choose from. But then when you click on it, then it opens up more options. So it's like every time you open up an option, you get more options and more options. But after working with it for a couple months, it really has been very intuitive, and I've figured out how to do everything I want to do. So that's why I say I can do these special trainings on that, and I can probably show you how to do things and reduce your learning curve dramatically. So.
Okay. So I am up for that. I was going to do it before. I was in a car accident, and it kind of took the wind off my sails.
Oh, no, sorry to hear that.
So I need to get back to this. And so I want to be a volunteer.
Okay.
Awesome. Something or other.
Awesome. No, that's really cool, because that's what I need. I need people that are trying to get stuff done. Like I was just on with Gwen just before this call. We were on another topic, and she said, I have a quick question about Kartra. And she opened it up, and I could see her screen, and I could just show her, real quick where to click on stuff to be able to edit what she was trying to do.
So in order to get started on this, what am I supposed to do?
As far as Kartra?
Yeah, I need to at least think in a certain direction so that I'm ready.
Okay. Well, again, now I want you guys all to keep this in mind. Kartra is just a tool. It's not going to create your marketing campaign for you. It's just going to deliver it. So it's like the house that it lives in. So your marketing campaign, you still have to create, and then it's going to live inside the Kartra house. The Kartra house is going to do everything that it needs to do to deliver it and follow up and maintain and all that stuff. So I don't want anybody to buy Kartra thinking that it's, the answer to their prayers and it's going to do everything and it's an easy button, because it's not. It's a great delivery piece of software to deliver your marketing message, but you have to create that first. So let's say you've got Kartra and it's sitting there waiting for you, and you come up with a big idea for your product and you want a landing page. You've already got your big idea, you've got your copy. Putting it in Kartra is an absolute piece of cake. Within a few minutes, we could create an opt-in box, which creates a database. We can put that opt-in box on a landing page, which they have a ton of templates. If you say, hey, I need a landing page, I click on the landing page button, and here's, 50 different landing page templates to choose from. And then you just edit them, or you can make your own from scratch if you want to. But you've got the opt-in box already created. It's sitting there. So when you want to drop that opt-in box on the landing page, you just click a button and drop it on and say, I want to use this opt-in box, and there it is. It just magically appears. And then when you publish that page, now that page is live, people could literally go to it and opt in, and they're in your database. And then your email follow-ups, if you've written those, we can drop those into the autoresponder portion, and then those can automatically be delivered at whatever interval you want. You probably want a thank you page, so we can say as soon as they opt in, they go to this thank you page, and we can put whatever information, you can deliver whatever you've promised on the thank you page, and it's all completely seamless and so easy to do. It's crazy how easy it is to do. So
if I wanted to start with just an email, not even a sequence, just an email
sure,
offer, right? Is there a place to put that, and what do I do? Upload my database?
So with that, what you would do is you would log into Kartra and you would create what's called a list, and you just hit the plus button and put a name to it, and automatically creates it for you. And then what you can do is you can import an existing email list into that list, and now they're on your new Kartra list. And then in Kartra, you just go in and you say, I want to broadcast an email. And you can pick and choose, like if you want to just broadcast to a single list, or you want to broadcast to everybody in your entire Kartra world, you can do that as well. And it's just that simple. You write the email inside and again, I wouldn't recommend writing the email inside the Kartra editor. I would write it in Word and then paste it in there when you're ready, just to make sure you don't lose it, because that's very frustrating. That's the biggest frustration I've had with Kartra, is having it time out and log me out, and I lose what I was working on because I was using it to edit, which I shouldn't have been. I should have been, doing my edits outside and then pasting in when I'm ready to go.
Okay.
But that's how you would just do a single email with it. And I know your existing program, I looked at it, I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to send an email to any part of your group, or even to myself for that matter.
Right.
So it really makes it easy. And here's something that I did the other day when I created the landing page for the Elvis Live. I had 2 dates. So on the landing page, I had them choose whether they wanted to go to the June 6th or or no, it was the June 5th or a July date. So they could actually select which one they wanted to go to. And then I realized, hey, I need to send a last minute email reminder out to these people, making sure they've got the address and the time and all the details for the event tonight. And I realized, oh God, I don't want to send it out to the whole group because I'll be sending it to people for both dates. And when I pulled up the email broadcast, I selected the database I wanted, which was the people that signed into the Elvis Live event. And then I could add another criteria to it. I could say, only the people that selected tonight's event. I'm like, oh, perfect. Answer to my prayers. And it did exactly that. It created an email and just sent it out to the people that were signed up for that date's event. It was really cool. I was really impressed.
Okay.
And for you could do that if you could. Another thing you can do is you can segment your list and you can tag them, and you can send emails out specifically to the people that have been tagged for a certain thing.
Okay.
So if you can segment your list and you can export your list and people that have bought certain types of products, you can bring those in and tag them specifically, so you can communicate with them from within inside Kartra based on who they are. That segmentation is really key to conversion ratios.
So that's probably one of my big problems, is I can't really do that from inside Volusion. But the good news is that once I begin to use Kartra, I can do it from Kartra.
Yes.
And be able to recognize it. So I'll be able to make things work.
Yeah, let's say from within Kartra, let's say you want to keep your existing shopping cart and you want to use Kartra to do your front-end marketing.
Yes.
So what you would do is you would market particular products out using Kartra, and you could actually sell that individual product or bundle through Kartra and let Kartra make that sale. And then Kartra could follow up with an email saying, we do have an online store as well. If you'd like to purchase, any one of our thousands of products, here's the link to the store, and, have fun shopping.
Okay.
And that way they're in your database for how they first came in and what they purchased, and you can keep them segmented that way for continued ongoing marketing.
Okay.
It's not a perfect world because it doesn't really connect all the analytics from your shopping cart to know what they purchased and how often they purchased out of the shopping cart and all that. If you are willing to, rebuild that whole thing inside Kartra, I don't know how many products do you have roughly?
Maybe a dozen.
Oh, yeah. If you only have a dozen products, then I'd be really tempted to dump Volusion altogether and just put those all together inside Kartra. And then you'd have everything. Kartra would tell you everything you ever wanted to know about who purchased and how much and how often. And, it's really, really powerful marketing. Like I said, this is a program that's built for marketing by marketers.
Okay.
So, in Infusionsoft, I say it's a product for marketers built by idiots. And
Right.
in Volusion, I think is probably in the same category from what I've seen. It's definitely not built for marketing.
It is definitely, well, supposedly there's stuff that I'm not taking advantage of, but how would I know that until I put all this time and effort into it, because
Yeah.
it doesn't work right now. So I do need to figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah, well, if I were you, I would take the position of leaving it run, leave Volusion run, but set up Kartra and start running marketing and start making sales through Kartra,
Okay.
and see how you like it. I really believe that within a very short time, you're going to say, hell with Volusion. I'm just making the jump. I'm going to take my database out of Volusion and I'm going to put it in Kartra and I'm going for it.
Okay, so I guess at least as a a starting place. If I use the shopping cart for the for checkout, I can have everything else in Kartra, and then, because one of the things I have to do is check with my merchant provider and make sure that they are okay with Kartra, right? So that they're on the list.
You have authorized net, right?
Well, authorized.net is my gateway, but they're not the one that backs my credit card.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, they shouldn't have any problem with Kartra. It's authorized net compatible, and in Kartra they've got all the compliance, which I don't know if Illusion's even got up to speed on all the compliance stuff yet. But Kartra is compliant. It's got all the stuff right built in.
okay.
So I don't see any reason why they would have a problem with it.
Okay, well, I'll check today and make sure, because if they are, and I can put the credit card in there, what I can do is do the sale tests completely in Kartra.
Yeah.
And then not have to worry about, so for fulfillment, does that show up in, do we have to connect to them differently than we do our shopping cart?
Well, in Kartra, you've got fulfillment modules in Kartra as well. Like for shipping, you've got shipping modules, you've got tax modules, everything you need to sell products, whether it's physical products or digital products. It's all.
Okay. So that'll be different, because I'll have to, if I do it that way, then I'd have to hook up one of those, so that in fulfillment we'll be looking at two different fulfillment modules, right?
Yeah.
Because we use stamps.com and it automatically brings it over. It means setting up another system.
Oh, gotcha.
So, all righty, need to figure that out. If I had to, I could just cycle it through the website. But I want to at least get started. I want to do something, and the easiest thing to do is to do an email blast.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a step that says at least I dipped my toe in the water.
Yeah, because your biggest thing really is you're not doing any email marketing to your group, and I think if you just used it for that, you'd be money ahead.
Sure. Okay, and once that becomes easy for me, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I can guarantee you it's going to be a lot easier because I can show you how to do it.
Okay.
Where in Volusion, I can't. I don't really know how it works.
Yeah, well, I don't either. So, and I think that in learning, I'm beginning to think that maybe it doesn't matter, because I would be better off being in Kartra no matter what.
Yeah, I truly believe that for sure.
So, all right.
So, all right. Any other questions or anything before we wrap up for today?
No, thank you so much, Don. I really appreciate it. I'm sending you an email to ask you a couple other private questions. But thank you. That was helpful.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. If you got anything else, let me know, and do look for emails. I'm going to be sending out several different emails over the next couple days. So different stuff, different new opportunities, and also about the Kartra special calls that we'll be doing on that. So, all right. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.